Hey guys, Crypto here with a new video. This one is going to be exclusively on XRP. I think I'm going to start making, if I have the time, start making some shorter videos about different assets. I know a lot of you guys out there are interested in HBAR. I do need to make a video update on Bitcoin because we have some pretty big developments. So I think I'm going to make shorter videos on each asset instead of combining them all together. That way you can pick and choose what you want to watch. Anyways, guys, it has been a while since I made a YouTube video. Just been super busy, taking a little bit more time to relax. With the market generally moving sideways the last couple of months, we've started to get some upwards price action, and now there's some stuff that I need to update. So making this video, guys, I'm going to talk about XRP. I actually recorded a video for my private Discord earlier, and the information was so important, so significant that I thought, hey, this is probably something that I want to share with my YouTube audience as well. Typically in the private Discord, I'll make regular video updates a few times a week. And if there's anything very, very significant or very big that may be happening, I think maybe this is something I should share with my YouTube audience as well. So that's what I'm doing now. I think I'm going to go ahead and play some clips from that video that I recorded a couple of days ago for my Discord. I might as well show you guys that video rather than re-recording everything that I said there again. So I'm going to play some clips from that video, and then I'll add in a little bit more insight and analysis into that. But we're going to go ahead and start with that, guys. Here it goes. Hey guys, Crypto here. Wanted to make a little video update here on XRP. Also talk about the long setup that I'm about to share, both bullish and bearish scenarios here. So in my most recent update, I shared that it looked like we have a pretty clean completed 5-wave impulse here, moved up quite aggressively here with a clean 5-wave movement off of the lows. Now keep in mind, we've talked about this in the past, that in the current markets, with the corrective nature that we see, the impulses don't necessarily have to start at the bottom. Right? We've seen this again in the past. We talked about on Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at 9 to 10,000, and I mentioned how it looked like we were going to start impulsing from above the absolute lows, and that's exactly what happened. So keep in mind that this impulse I have starting from 70 cents, not starting from 50 cents. And I think that we were essentially correcting, making a complex correction, and then that correction ended here, and we began our first impulse. Guys, really quickly, I'm going to play a video clip from one of my older YouTube videos to kind of explain the idea of the impulse starting kind of in mid-air, not off the lows. This was a video that I recorded when Bitcoin was trading at around $10,000 to $11,000 before the massive run up to 60K. We saw a situation in which we had a very similar situation here where we impulse off of mid-air rather than impulsing off the lows. And I talk about this a lot more in-depth in that video. So I'm going to play a small clip from that YouTube video. It's a little bit long, guys, about 5 to 10 minutes, but trust me, the information that you're going to get from that video is golden, and it's going to apply to exactly what we're seeing here. And to understand what's happening here, you really need to see what happened there to kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about and why I think that this impulse is starting slightly above the lows rather than at the lows. So I'm going to go ahead and play that clip, guys. Stick around.
For the low not being in, we typically expect a correction to finish and then an impulse off the lows. However, if we consider that the correction ended here and not at these lows, now we can see impulsive moves off the low, right? So this was maybe our first impulse, okay? This was a corrective wave 3. Then we got another impulse to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what it looks to me like we're doing here is we're forming a series of 1, 2, 1, 2s. And again, what a 1, 2, 1, 2 is it just implies that the first major impulse has started. This was our first subwave of the first impulse. We got a corrective wave 2. We're working on our third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave. Within this larger third wave, we're forming another set of 1, 2s. Or sorry, this would be as such. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. Okay, so this is actually a move of a smaller degree. I'm going to make this a smaller degree. I'm going to change the color to green. Okay, and so what we're seeing here is a wave 1, a wave 2, and then a subwave 1 and a subwave 2. Okay, before we start impulsing to the upside. And this gives us that choppy corrective looking structure. It fits us in a channel, which is another argument for us still being in a corrective move, because it channels so nicely, and typically corrective structures channel very nicely. So this again makes us think that we're actually in a corrective structure and we're going to get a big breakdown here, right? But again, from a wave structure perspective, this makes a lot more sense, a truncated move. We started impulsing here. We're getting 1, 2, 1, 2s. Now, the confirmation that we get that this is actually bullish is that if this really is a 1, 2, 1, 2, we're going to end up doing something like this. We are going to end up breaking this. okay, to the upside. We're going to break through this channel, okay, and we're going to impulse out the top. And that's when we know, we get confirmation that this was not a corrective structure because we broke the channel. Corrective structures tend to channel very well. As long as we channel, we assume corrective structure if we're only going off of that information. When this channel breaks, gets broken to the upside impulsively, then we think, okay, this is probably not a corrective structure. But after doing this analysis, I'm getting a little bit of a head start here to thinking that this is probably not a corrective structure. We're probably going to rip through this channel through the top of it pretty soon, okay?
All right, guys, and just for reference, that video, here is where we were at when I recorded that video. I'm going to go ahead and redraw this real quick. This is the truncated impulse that I was talking about in the video, and then we had our corrective channel as well. That was right here, okay? And recall in the video I talked about how it was likely that we were going to break through the corrective channel if we were bullish, and then just rip through the top and continue to the upside. And we can see here that's exactly what we did. We ripped through the top, and as you guys I'm sure know, the rest is history, right? So that is a situation in which we truncated early. Most were expecting a lower low. We truncated, and then we continued to rip to the upside, and obviously from there we went to our all-time highs. Guys, this is essentially what I believe is happening right now, and why I think that, and why I talk about how an impulse doesn't necessarily need to start at the lows, right? In this case, our impulse started right off of here when the lows were down here. So that's the idea behind the impulse not needing to start off the lows. Typically in Elliott Wave, that's one of the core things that we look for, impulses starting off the lows. But over my time with the markets, through my experience, I've learned that that may not always be the case. And we tend to see it more often than not when these markets are very bullish. So guys, this was one example and it worked out perfectly. I believe that's probably what we're seeing here again, that the low is probably in, but the impulse on XRP probably started a little bit higher off the low. Now, again, there's two scenarios here, and I'm going to go through both of them. But the first is that if, let's say, Bitcoin sees a larger correction here, back down to, let's say, 30K or sub 30K, which again I think is very unlikely. But let's just, for the bearish case right here, what we're going to get, the whole market's going to go with it, including XRP. And in that case, what we would have here is this impulse would actually just be the C leg of a expanded flat. Okay, so this would be a flat correction or an X wave, and then we get another corrective structure to the downside that should clear these lows at 51 cents and make one more dip to the downside. Again, I think this is very unlikely as it currently stands, but that's the bearish scenario, just so that we have that in mind. If our long here gets invalidated, gets stopped out, in that case, I believe that this is what we're probably looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that in mind in case we get stopped out here, okay? Now, the bullish scenario, the one that I think is a lot more likely, and keep in mind also my macro, I have this as like a potential leading expanded diagonal. If you recall, I posted that chart maybe a few days ago of this being a leading diagonal, okay? So the bearish scenario that I just showed you guys would invalidate that scenario as well. Very unlikely in my opinion. I'm just showing you the only way I can see this essentially getting invalidated and us getting stopped out is if that scenario is playing out. Otherwise, this should be a clean long. But let's go ahead and talk about the long now. So again, I'm seeing this as a pretty clean 5-wave impulse to the upside, which means that this wave 2 to the downside, this correction, is a buy opportunity. Our official invalidation is going to be here at the lows at 69 cents. And then again, we have tons of support before we even get anywhere close to that. So first of all, we have our daily support right here, which is this level that acted as resistance that we flipped. So it's now going to act as support. Below that, we have the wick zone, which is the bullish order block that led to the breakout of this area of supply. So that area is significant where you'd expect buyers to step in. And I call it the wick zone because I'd like to ideally see a wick into this region, but no daily closes below our daily support, right? So I want the daily support to hold, but wicks into the wick zone are fine. And then finally, if we zoom out even more, again, keep in mind invalidation. Let me go ahead and mark it off. Invalidation is the red line at the start of the impulse at 69 cents, okay? So even if below this wick zone, we have another area of support, which is going to be this order block right here, this 3-day order block, bullish order block, where we consolidated for a while before breaking down and making a new swing low, okay? So this is another key area that we've broken above that will act as support. So we have tons of support between us and our official invalidation where we would potentially get stopped out in the bullish area. We have to lose the daily support. we have to lose the wick zone, we have to lose the 3 daily support, right? Before we can hit our invalidation. So there's lots of support here, which is why I'm comfortable attempting a long. Targets for the long to the upside. Our first target's going to be daily supply, which is going to be around $1.50 to $1.60. And I mentioned that's where I think XRP is headed next. So this is going to be our first area of resistance where you can look to take some partial profits. Above that, we're going to break out above $2. Okay. And really at this point, if this is the impulse that I believe it to be, then this move to the upside should be quite aggressive, which means that more likely than not, I probably won't be taking much profit here at 150, because if you think about it, if this is an impulse to the upside, at the bare minimum, we should see 5 waves to the upside, of which right now we have 1. Okay. So let me show you guys what I mean by that. Here's our first impulse up. We're getting our wave 2, 3, 4. At the bare minimum, we should see a 5-wave move before any significant correction here. Okay. And because of that, it doesn't make much sense, in my opinion, to take too many profits here at daily supply. I have a feeling we're more likely than rejecting here, you're going to see a big correction. I think more likely than that, we'll probably hit it, pull back a little bit, and then rip through to continue with our third impulse here, okay, which should take us past $2, honestly. So, yeah, in fact, this impulse itself should take us, if we're going to get 5 waves here, we should get a fairly aggressive move to the upside. Maybe this is, again, if this is a leading diagonal, then this is actually not going to be a 5-wave move. It's going to be a 3-legged ABC. So, or like some sort of a 3-legged combo structure, something like that. The complex 3-legged structure. So maybe one big wave up to around $2, maybe a little bit higher correction, and then another big wave to get us to complete this structure, if this is what we're getting, and possibly all-time highs. In other words, guys, I think we're going to see some pretty aggressive acceleration in XRP here in the coming days. So I'm looking to long this. And I'm going to post the trade setup here shortly. Essentially, what it's going to look like is you could ladder bids essentially starting from now, because we are on daily support. So you could ladder bids from here down into the wick zone. And I'm going to place my stop loss. I'm going to place my stop loss right here. Okay. Official invalidations here at 70 cents, but I think we're safe here with all the support in between us. I don't think that we'll get this low, all things considered. So, and then my take profit, as I mentioned, daily supply would be your first take profit around 2R, but honestly, I don't see myself taking much profit there. I'm probably aiming for at least these highs here at $2, and we'll have to see as the trade develops how we go from there, because if this is what we're getting, it's probably going to be a very aggressive move, and we'll probably head quite a bit higher, even if we do get a pullback from this $2 level. So we'll have to wait and see. But something like this, looking at around 3R if we go for these highs, about 2R if we go for these highs here. Guys, I would like to add very briefly, that video recording that you guys just saw, as I mentioned, was from my private Discord that I shared a couple of days ago. This is a sample of what you could expect from the Discord. I post regular updates on XRP, BTC, Ethereum, HBAR, and we cover many other alts. I have CJ EarnCrypt, some of you may know him from Twitter as well. He's the other admin in the group, and he focuses on the altcoins while I focus on the majors. But like I said, any of the updates that you just saw that in that video recording was shared here a couple of days ago, and I post constant updates throughout the day, as you can see here. So guys, if you're interested in joining the Discord, we've been running it for about 2 years now. We have a great little community. And we do have limited seats available. I think there's about 10 spots left right now until we hit capacity. And then spots will open up if members decide to leave down the road. If you guys are interested in the Discord, just go ahead and shoot me an email at the email address I'm about to show on the screen. And I can send you the link to sign up if you guys are interested in that. Other than that, guys, let's jump right back to the analysis. All right, guys, so going back to the XRP chart, the next thing that I want to talk about, we've kind of covered XRP USD. I've talked about that in the video that I just showed you guys that was recorded a couple of days ago. Let me go ahead and show you guys where we are at now on this particular chart. So this is going to be, fast forward a couple of days. This is what happened thus far. We came down, we tapped just shy of the wick zone, so this support has held very well thus far. The wick zone was not quite tapped. And it may or may not still be tapped, right? So the bottom may be in for this correction. We may come down one more time. Our longs got filled at $1.05. Literally at the bottom of this wick is where we got our longs filled. in the group. And now we're patiently waiting for the move to the upside that I believe is going to take place. Again, our invalidations here at 70 cents. So basically, guys, the point that I'm making here is I believe that we will likely see new all-time high before we see 70 cents. And I don't mean that we're going to see new all-time high and then we're going to come back to 70 cents. I mean that 70 cents is probably gone for good. And that I do think that we will be seeing a new all-time high here on XRP rather than seeing 70 cents. Okay, the idea of a new all-time high coming gets invalidated in the immediate short term if 70 cents is hit. But as long as you stay above 70 cents, I believe we're probably going to visit new all-time high before going any lower than that. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the XRP BTC chart because that is part of the equation. It's a very significant part of the equation. Let's go ahead and move to that chart now. All right, guys, so with regards to the XRP BTC chart, I want to bring your attention to a chart that I shared June 25th, July, August, about 2 months ago. Okay, this was XRP BTC at the time. And as you can see, we were trading here at around 0.00001917, and I basically said that some are calling for new lows on XRP BTC. There are some analysts saying that we're going to go to new lows. I said it's technically possible if this level was lost, but I think a reversal off this region makes more sense considering XRP USD is on major historical support. So when people were calling for new lows on XRP BTC to drop down to here, it didn't make any sense to me, guys. You have to take market context into consideration with these charts. You can't just say that XRP is going to keep making new lows forever. It doesn't make any sense. The market at this point in time was turning up. Bitcoin was headed up. Everything was headed up. XRP USD was on major historical support. It made no sense to just say that we're going to new lows. It didn't make any sense. So I said more likely than that, we're probably going to reverse off of this green level and head to the upside. And let's go ahead and take a look at where we are at today on this same chart. All right, guys, here we are today, and you can see that that's pretty much exactly what we did. We based off of the green level, we reversed off of it, and now we're pushing to the upside. So this is playing out exactly as I would have liked to have seen. Keep in mind with XRP USD, we're expecting a pretty aggressive move to the upside, and so we'd expect XRP BTC to follow as well, or to lead, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line being, I expect XRP BTC to appreciate just as aggressively right now as XRP USD. They need to move in tandem if we're going to get such a big move. Now let's take a look at the chart. Let's zoom out here, and we can see that there's one very significant level on this chart. That's this level right here with the dotted red line. Acted as support, support, support. We lost it. Acted as resistance, resistance, resistance. All right. At the bottom, we have this as our major area of support that we've now based off of. So essentially, I believe that we're aiming now for this red region here, which from current levels is in and of itself a 50% move to the upside. Okay. Now we know that the more that a support or resistance level is tested, the weaker that it gets. One example is right here. Support, support, support. We lost it after the third test. Okay. Resistance, resistance, resistance. We've tested it 3 times now. I think we're going to break it on this 4th attempt. And so what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a move up to the red region. I'm looking for a break above it, okay? And then either we get a retest and continue up, or we simply just blast through as we've seen happen in prior times, okay? Ideally, we get a nice clean retest. We break through, come back down for a retest, and then we erupt. But we don't always get the perfect, picture-perfect retest in these markets. Sometimes we just aggressively rip. A retest would be ideal, but bottom line, I think that we're going to rip through this here on our 4th attempt to break through it. And guys, if that happens, we have a lot of room to cover to the upside, and I think this will start our major acceleration of the upside that's going to match with the major acceleration of the upside on the USD pairing. So keep an eye on this level. Again, it's 50% just to get to that region, okay? Now, assuming that Bitcoin stays where it's at, to make things simple, and assuming that we're headed here, okay, which is, again, 50 to 60% up on XRP/BTC. What that implies is that if Bitcoin stays the same price-wise and XRP BTC moves up to the red line, that implies that XRP would move up about 50 to 60%, okay? So taking a look at where XRP is now, and we take a 50 to 60% move on XRP, that puts us at our target of around $2, our initial target, okay? So everything's kind of lining up here with our charts. So I do think that we're headed up to $2 minimum, okay, and more realistically to $2.50 plus, $3 here shortly. When I say shortly, I mean in a matter of weeks, I would say. But bottom line is, I do think that this was our low. We've started our major impulse to the upside off of 70 cents, and I do think that we are going to see $2 plus here in the coming weeks. And then this is going to be the third major rally of this structure. We had one major rally for the first wave. We had a second major rally for the second or the third wave. And I think we're going to get a third major rally for this fifth wave, okay? After we get this rally, which again should at the bare minimum clear $2 and then will end up somewhere in this space above. Could be above all-time high, could be around 250, whatever it may be. After we get that fifth wave to the upside, okay, wherever that may take us, at that point, this leading diagonal structure will be completed, okay? At which point we will get likely get some sort of a correction, okay, a wave 2. Let me go ahead and see if I can make this a little bit more clear. So there's our wave 1. Some sort of a correction as a wave 2. Not sure how deep it'll go. It could be very shallow, could be deep, depends on how the market's going. If the market is very bullish, if Bitcoin is breaking all-time highs, if everything's going up, then we're likely to see a shallow retracement because money and buyers will be stepping into the markets as a whole, okay? If the market conditions are not so great, we might see a deeper pullback. I don't know how deep the pullback is going to be, but we'll get some sort of a correction most likely, and then we'll continue up for our major third wave, our major fourth wave, and our major fifth wave. And keep in mind, the third wave is going to be in price discovery territory. It's going to be higher than we've ever been before. It means there's no sell pressure above. The third wave is also typically or usually or very often one of the strongest waves in a 5-wave structure. So you can expect this third wave to move up very aggressively, okay? Then we get a fourth wave, then we get a fifth wave, the blow off top, the end of the bull market. We have a ways to go is what I'm getting at here, okay? And again, my targets for XRP, as I've said many times, stand at $20 to $30 at the end of this bull cycle, whether that be 6 months or a year from now. That is my target. Things will get exciting. Things will accelerate aggressively after we break all-time highs. The hardest part is getting back to all-time highs. As we break all-time highs, there's no sell pressure above, and it becomes very easy to climb the ranks and to get higher and higher. So it seems hard to imagine, how do we get to 10 or 20 bucks or even 30 bucks at this point in time? We're only at $1.18. Guys, the biggest gains happened in the last 10% of the bull market. Keep in mind that XRP was trading at 22 cents in 2017, and in 1 month it went up to $3.30. It went 10x in a month, okay? And that was at the last 10% of the bull run. Something similar can be expected here. I think if we can break 3 to 4, the all-time high within the next few months, then we're easily going to go, 3 to 5x is very reasonable. Again, in 2017, we went 10x, okay? 3 to 5x easy, all right? So $10 minimum is where I'll consider taking profits, $10 minimum. But I plan on scaling out ideally between $20 to $30. Again, we'll have to wait and see if we get there. But I'm not planning on taking profits until at least $10 at the bare minimum, okay? And again, this is all gonna be based on market conditions at the time, how the markets look, whether I think the bull market is ending, whether it's coming close to ending, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll have to decide when we get there. So it's a long ways away right now. But for now, guys, this is my market update and my market analysis on XRP. This is the rationale behind why I think that we're going to be seeing a very aggressive move to the upside. Longs are filled at 105. Stop loss is at 70 cents, targeting minimum of $2. And after that, all-time high, and we'll have to wait and see where we go from there. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. It keeps me making them. Guys, also stay tuned for some more videos. I think I'll probably be making one on Bitcoin next, and then I'll make one on HBAR as well, maybe. There's not too much to update on HBAR, but let's see what happens, guys. That's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys next time.